Alright, in September I go back to Ostruzna into September for some of the more hardcore games. If you listen to my Prague versus Ostruzna thoughts, you know that in Prague, most lads are playing at a more casual level. The genie loves to say, "This is a casual game. Why are you playing that bullshit?" As he plays his own bullshit without really thinking it through. But bullshit aside, so Ostruzna is more of a hardcore, combo-rich environment. It's not that they put that much money in their decks, especially one of the lads that just photocopies everything. He refuses to spend money on cards, so he just photocopies everything or writes it on the card. And that's fine, let him play. Screw it, why not? But it's what they play. So, I forget the name of the Sphinx Commander. It starts with a T. 4/6. Whenever he comes in the battlefield or attacks, everybody votes for you to get treasure tokens or clue tokens. Whenever he attacks, you do the same thing. So you're always, if you're in a 4-player game, you have 3 opponents. You are typically going to get anywhere between. Usually, people think treasure is safer. And then once he starts using it for mana, they think clue is safer. And then when he starts drawing cards, so he gets 3 treasure or clue tokens every turn. One comes into play, then he attacks. It's got ward, it's got flying, its toughness is 6. I think it's a 4/6. It's just a beast. It's just a brutal commander. It's like Tulane. Tulane, yeah, if you can build it cheaply, but it's still going to be a ballbuster because it's fucking Tulane. Tulane Teller of Tales. So with that in mind, I'm going to rebuild the deck that I took apart. I'm going to rebuild. Wow, I've been talking for 2 minutes. I haven't even shown you anything. I hope everybody's still watching. I'm going to rebuild Brago, King Eternal. Let's see if I can get more of Brago-ness. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, what have we got? We've got a 2/4 Legendary Spirit that flies. And whenever he punches one of my opponents in the face, I exile any number of non-land cards I control, permanents. I can exile tokens, but they coming back, so why would I do that, right? Then those cards come back to the battlefield. They flicker. So he hits somebody, and I get to flicker anything I want that isn't a land under my control. And he costs 2 blue-white. So it's a flicker deck. It's a bastard deck. The first version I played, the first version I had, I'll put that up here. If I've got the Moxfield link, I'll put it up. The first version was pretty rough. It's when Prague, we were playing these brutal combo aggressive decks, and it was not very well liked in that environment. And then I took it apart because nobody liked to play against it. I didn't even like playing it. It wasn't fun to play. Well, it was fun to play, but the people, my friends' reactions and the way they reacted to the deck, that wasn't fun. So I took them apart. And then I thought, what if I made it tribal clones? So I rebuilt it. The problem is, most of the clones that are available clone your things. So if you don't have anything good worth cloning, you're cloning like a Solemn Simulacrum. You're cloning a Karmic Guide with nothing in the graveyard because you got nothing else. And then finally you draw one of the clones that copies somebody else's creatures, and if they don't have anything that impressive, you're stuck. So that didn't really work. So I'm rebuilding it as just super flicker Brago. Anyways, look at the mana base. Flooded Strand, pretty obvious. Temple of the False God, yeah. If I have 5 more lands, I want to say something rapidly, like say blue or white. Colorless. It, I don't know. Generic. Anyway, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Sky Cloud Expanse, Filter Light. Oh, it's getting late. Edcard Waste, Baneland, Glacial Fortress, I think we call these checklands. Prairie Stream, retard. Well, I don't know. Are they retard lands? No, those are the ones coming to play. I don't know what the hell we call these. Floodplain, original dual land from Mirage, not dual land. Original fetch land. Original Mirage fetch land. I don't have a hollowed fountain available right now. So what I did, went through my collection, pulled out all the cards that I had that should go in the deck, or good in the deck, stacked them up. I've got quite a few holes I've identified, and I've got about 10 slots left in the main deck, so I'll figure it out. And also I've not decided on his basics. Okay, Academy Ruins. Put an artifact card in graveyard back at top of your library. Not, well, I don't know if I'll keep that or not. I don't really have that many artifacts. Well, mana rocks. Roller Quarry Tower, I do have some card draw, so I do want to keep them. Marry the Sky Ruin. Beginning of my upkeep. Yeah, it comes to play tapped. Beginning of my upkeep, if I have 7 or more planes, I may, if I so desire, pull a creature card from my graveyard and slap it on the battlefield. Or I can tap it for white once it's untapped. Anyway, being a 2-color deck, I should be able to get 7 planes pretty easy. Calciform Pools, storage land. The other non-basics I want. So I haven't picked his basics yet. I'll deal with that later. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I would like to put a Winding Canyons in here. A Hollowed Fountain. Nykthos Shrine to Deck would be nice, but I don't think it's necessary. Not the way that I'm building it. What else would be really good in here for non-basics? Yeah. Pretty much Winding Canyons and Hollowed Fountain are all that come to mind. So there's that as I move my Jeep. Okay, mana rocks. We've got 6 rocks here. Various shades of mana. So Nyx Lotus comes to play tapped, but Brago. If I play Nyx Lotus on my first main, attack the Brago, he connects. He will blink the Nyx Lotus, so on my second main phase, I'll have access to it. So it's a bit better than it normally is. And it comes to play tap. Choose a color, add amount of mana to your mana pool equal to your devotion to that color. Okay, Soul Talisman. Once this is in play, so I suspend it for 3. Once it's in play, if I blink it, it comes back and untapped. That's the idea. It's just a soul ring. It's just a delay soul ring. Arcane Signet. Okay, get one. Oh, Command Tower. Command Tower is something else I want. So Command Tower, Hollowed Fountain, and Winding Canyons. Yeah. I think we all know what these do. They shove it in every commander deck. I don't think there's a commander precon these days without one. Is there? Probably not. Talisman of Progress. It hurts me if I take color. Gild Lotus. Top of the mana curve for the mana rocks. Tap, add 3 mana of any color. Maybe I should put a Worn Power Stone in here. Worn Power Stone costs 3. Comes to play tapped, gives you 2. I don't want to pay for a mana vault. Maybe I should cough up the dough for, because I'm also finishing Nalia. I'm finishing my Squirrel Modern deck. Started to look at Saskia. So adding a mana vault as a departure is an additional cost. I don't know if I want to incur right now. We'll see. Anyway, Gild Lotus. You get 3 mana of any color you want. Alright, we need to get him through somehow. We need to get damage. We need to punch people in the head. Locks no Warhammer. Creature gets trample, +3/+0, and lifelink. Smash. Swiss Foot Boots. I'm not putting Lightning Greaves in here because what I like to do is blink Brago himself, so he's available as a blocker. With Lightning Greaves, I can't target him, so I can't do that. That said, and putting a Whisper Soul Cloak, he gets Shroud and Unblockability. So, kind of protection, evasion, all into one. Duplicant. Duplicant, play that creature again because it's exiled. So, Duplicant. 6, 2, 4, exile creature and it comes into play. Blink, do it again. Spine of Isha, when it comes into play, blow up permanent. When it goes to the battle graveyard from the battlefield, put it back in your hand. Or if it gets blinked, do it again. There's kind of a theme here. Alright, now there's a bunch of planeswalkers in here. Okay, Venser, 3 blue-white for 3 loyalty planeswalker. +2, exile a permanent you own. Return to the battlefield at the end of the next at the beginning of the next end step. Neg 1 creatures are unblockable, so evasion for Brago. Neg 8, I've gotten that twice. I know I've gotten it at least once, and it felt dirty. Whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent. And this is years ago. This is years ago when excuse me, just wanted a sip of pastis. Nowadays we've got all kinds of crazy shit that exile. They're just part of the game. In Scars Mirrodin, it was becoming more common, but it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now, which is annoying. Dovin Ban, 2 blue-white, 3 loyalty planeswalker. During next turn, up to 1 target creature gets neg 3, neg 0, and its activated abilities can. So this is mainly against something with an activation effect that I don't want to see go off. So I can do that, and then I can. The better way to stack it is, and the neg 7, I don't go for that at all. I've only played Dovin Ban and Brago, and I only use these 2 abilities because typically, so first main, I'll gain 2 life, draw a card. Attack with the Brago, blink Dovin Ban, and then I'll +1 Dovin Ban. And then, or I'll neg 1 him again, but I'll get 2 activations out of him at a time. That's kind of the idea. Teferi, Bane of Standard. The genie loves this guy. Teferi is his favorite character, I think. So I have this art and I have the other art, and I've not played with them. I just got them for the art because they look really cool. So I'm going to try it out. 2 blue-white. Well, most anybody who's played Standard in the last couple years, I guess you know what this guy does, and you either love him or you hate him. So +1, choose up to 1 target artifact, creature, and land. Untap the chosen permanent, up to 1 of each. You don't have to choose all 3, up to 1 of each. Untap the chosen permanents you control. Tap the chosen permanents you don't. You gain 2 life. Neg 2, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put the 1 in your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Neg 7, you can emblem with untap a permanent you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's untap. So that's good. That would be something to chase after, obviously. Okay. Now we get into the bastard part of it. Grand Operator Augustine IV. 2 blue-white for 2/3 legendary human advisor. My white spells cost 1 less. My blue spells cost 1 less. My opponent's spells cost 1 more, no matter the color. Maybe I should make him the commander. Nah, that'd be a real dickhead move. Cloud Blazer. She comes into play. Gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. When Brago attacks and you blink her, gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Kind of a super Moldrifter. Okay, render silent. So tell your opponent, for the low cost of 2 blue and a white, tell your opponent to shut it. No more spells for you this turn. Jerky. Reflector Mage. When it comes into play, return target creature an opponent controls to its hand. That creature's owner cannot cast spells the same name as that creature until your next turn. But by then, you would have blinked him, but that creature wouldn't have, unless somebody else controls the same creature. Anyway, you can blink this guy every turn and hit another creature. Just keep bouncing shit back to your opponent's hand and watch them cry. This is something I've never played with before, and I'm not sure if it's worth a slot in the deck, but it's really cool looking. I like it a lot. Don't like that it's a sorcery, but for what it does, it kind of makes sense. Exile target non-land permanent. Each player other than the controller of the permanent creates a token that's a copy of it. So you can exile anything. Artifact, enchantment, planeswalker, creature, bag of cookies, whatever you want. Yorion Sky Nomad. So this is where I'm starting to branch out, and with the idea of him being a blink deck and using cards I didn't have the first time around. So Yorion, the companion doesn't matter. He's not going to be my companion. It's irrelevant. You cannot play him in Commander anyway because of the Commander rules of 100 cards exactly. So you can't put those extra 20 cards in a Commander deck. Then it violates the Commander rules, which supersede Yorion's rules. So when he comes into play, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. I like that they they put both. I've only played against him on Arena a few times and never bothered to actually read him that deeply. Usually it just says exile any number of other non-land permanents you control, you own and control. So if I have somebody else's cards, if I've stolen somebody else's things, I can't bounce those. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning, because usually it says return, bounce, exile, flicker any number of other permanents you control, return those cards to their owner's hands or to the battlefield under their owner's control. So he can't even make you give back your opponent's stuff. That's weird. Alright, Azorius Guildmage. Blue, white, hybrid. Tap target creature or counter target activated ability. That's what she's in here to do, is counter target activated abilities. Nope. No planeswalker bullshit for you. No artifact bullshit for you. Only bullshit for me. Here's another Teferi, the Temporal Pilgrim. So 3 blue. I played against this guy in Arena and I hated him. So whenever I draw a card, he gets a loyalty counter. For nothing, draw a card. And by default, it's +1. By default, it's +1, draw a card. He gets a loyalty. It's just the wording. They don't want +2 effectively. -2, create a 2/2 blue spirit creature token with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, it gets bigger. -12, target opponent chooses a permanent they control, puts it back in their hand, and they shuffle everything else they have into the library. -12, target opponent gets fucked over real bad. Yeah, Teferi. Metal War comes to play. Bounce a creature to owner's hand for the low cost of 2 and a blue for 2/2 Jellyfish. I've got a lot of planeswalkers in this deck. I don't know if you noticed that, but I do. So I'm thinking Deep Glow Skate comes into play, and I get to proliferate. Well, double the kind of each counter on target permanent. So it's not proliferate. It's something else. It's not. It's double the number of each kind of counter. Proliferate is just add another counter. I don't really have anything else as counters, so maybe he'll come out. Maybe I won't need him. We'll see. Maybe I'll put more planeswalkers in and I'll rely on them even more. Foil, I can throw away an island card, another card, rather than pay the spell CMC. Counter target spell. Because I'm being a dick. Hibernation. Instantly return all green permanents to their hands. Wow. Well, Omnath, you have a lot of shit. Boing. Wow, Omnath, you had a lot of shit. Treachery. Comes to play and tap up to 5 lands. So if I bounce it, if I flicker Treachery, steal another creature, it'll come into play, and I'll get to untap 5 lands. Now, I could flicker it. My opponent would get that creature back, because it wouldn't be enchanted anymore. And then when it comes back to play, I could just re-enchant the same creature. And untap 5 lands. Clever Impersonator. So yeah, since I'm playing a blink deck, I might as well have a few clone effects. Because they're fun, they're neat, and sometimes your opponents have stuff that you really wish you had too. And this is how you get it. You impersonate it. 2 blue, you may have Clever Impersonator enter the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. He can be anything. He's anything you want him to be. Copy artifact, comes to play, copies an artifact. Says what it does what it says. Disallow, counter spell, activate ability or triggered ability. Counter spell, counter target spell. Arcane denial, counter target spell. And then, of course, the spell's caster gets 2 cards at the beginning of this next upkeep, and you get 1. So maybe I should put my alms collector in here. The alms collector I'm probably not going to use in Nalia. Maybe that would be good for Brago. I'll think about that. I just love this card. This is my first favorite card of all of them ever in the game. Full stop. Vesuvian Doppelganger. When she comes into play, copies another creature. During your upkeep, you can choose to copy a different creature. Or not. You can just keep her the same way. But that Quentin Hoover art. Man, that dude was talented. Lawan Sufflet Empress. Alright, so since I'm screwing over the green guys, I'll screw over the blue guys. Lawan comes into play and bounces all blue creatures your opponents control back to their hands, and they can't play them again. So Hibernation bounces all green permanents back to the owner's hands. Lawan bounces all blue creatures and says, screw you, you can't play them anymore as long as I'm here. At least Hibernation, they can play them out again. Typically in a green deck, they'll have like 30 fucking lands, so they'll dump their hand back at, the turn after you hibernate. Anyway, Palinchron, 5 blue, 4/5 flyer comes into play, untap up to 7 lands. Flicker him, untap 7 lands again. And I can bounce him back to my hand. Glendolyn Archmage, blue, sacker. She comes back as a 1/1 flyer because she has persist. Then she gets flickered. She comes back to play as a 2/2 flyer, so you can counter more spells, get more value. Watch your opponents cry. Empress Galena. She doesn't have a home in any of my decks, and she's a really good card. She's a foil, an old invasion foil, so I need to play her somewhere. I really do. 3 blue for a 1/3. Not the most powerful creatures, but blue gain control of target legend or legendary permanent, and that's it. It's not as long as she's tapped, as long as she's in play, you just get control of it. Cool. Risk study. Do you pay the 1? Do you pay the 1? Did you pay the 1? Did you pay the 1? You paid the 1, you asshole. Reality Acid. Okay, so Brago. I enchant a creature. Brago attacks, punches somebody in the head, and I flicker this. It leaves play, so enchanted permanents control sacrifice, and it comes into play and enchants something else. They can enchant anything. Permanent. Land, Planeswalker, your mama's biscuits, don't matter. Teferi made himself here. He makes my creatures flashy. He's flashy. My opponent's spells become not flashy at all. He's kind of expensive, but he's cool. He does stuff. He's really fallen out of favor too. Speaking of falling out of favor, Venser has kind of fallen out of favor. Not a lot of people are playing him these days. 2 blue, 2. He used to be everywhere. I seem to be the only guy in my group that's still playing him. I love Venser. He's fantastic. He's flashy, comes into play, puts a spell or permanent back to the owner's hand, so I don't have to deal with it right now. People are just playing different things, or else they've forgotten about him and moved on. He's on the verge of being overrepresented in my decks. I think I have... This is probably the 6th copy in my commander decks. I think almost all my blue decks have one. Tail the Shield Mage. I'm thinking him because there's always those random things that target me. Bajuka Bog. What else? Not a whole lot of... Yeah, some direct damage. I don't know. It's not coming to mind right now, but there are random things that target you. And it seems like it's worth a slot in the deck to protect myself from that. So another Planeswalker. I can create walls. I can blink him. Put it back up to 5. Create more walls. Stay hexproof. Stay sexy. Stonehorn Dignitary. When Stonehorn comes into play, target opponent skips his or her next so if you play him, your first main, you can't attack me. You, over there, to my left. And then you attack Brago. You blink him, and now you, over there, you can't attack me either. So you get some value out of this guy. I don't want to put him with the lands. I always thought this guy was kind of cool, but he's weak. He's not really that impressive. Unless I can flicker him every turn. So when he comes into play, creatures can't attack me or Planeswalker. Basically, Ghostly Prison. He comes into play and Ghostly Prisons for 1 turn. If I can flicker him, he Ghostly Prisons every turn. And he's a 3/3. I could just play Ghostly Prison, but that's no fun because you can't hurt anybody Ghostly Prison. You can't have an opportunistic attack with a 3/3 Spirit Cleric. I mean, everybody loves opportunistic attacks with 3/3 Spirit Clerics, don't they? Ephemerate. Something I'm thinking is, I saw, usually it was Momentary Blink, Ghostly Flicker. Those are really the only instant flicker cards I knew about. I looked up Gather and I saw that there's about 3 or 4 others. I'm thinking maybe in this deck I'll have more spells, like I did with Nekazar, where Nekazar has all those black spells that give him Indestructible till end of turn, or Persist until end of turn, or Undying until end of turn. Maybe I'll put more of these Exile Creature Control, then Return to the Battlefield under your control, its owner's control. Maybe more of those effects. So Ephemerate, I just pulled it out. But there's Cloud Shift, Momentary Blink, I said, Ghostly Flicker, Acrobatic Maneuver. So maybe I'll get those and run those in here. I'm not sure. Like I said, I've got 10 slots open because I didn't have enough cards to fully flesh out the deck. Chaomancer's Map. I could run land tax, but this sounds like it'll be more fun. Comes to the battlefield, I go find 2 basic... Now, land tax can find islands. This only finds plains. But I show them off, put them in my hand, then if I flicker it, I get to do it again. Whenever land comes to the battlefield under opponent's control, they have more lands than me, I can put a land from my hand onto the battlefield. So, little more value than land tax. A little more expensive too, because it costs 2 colors and a white.
What is that?
This is called Archaeomancer's Map. Is it pretty?
Weird. It's just weird.
But look at the purple.
Yeah.
It's got purple shiny.
That's pretty.
This is an Eldrazi Displacer.
Is that the last card?
Almost.
Okay, we're going to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm just about done.
Okay.
So this is an Eldrazi Displacer. He got 2 colorless, 1 white.
He's weird too.
Well, yeah, he's an Eldrazi. They're all weird. They're just horrific monsters.
Hall of Magic is all weird.
Well, yeah. Only weirdos play Magic, Emma.
So you are a weirdo.
Well, yes. So 3/3, he's no color. Exile into the target creature, then return to the battlefield tapped under owner's control. So a little backup flickering action. Little backup insurance. Angel Finality, 3 and a white for a 3/4 flying angel. When she comes to play, Tormod's Cryptstone's Graveyard, or whatever your flavor of it is. Anyway, if I can flicker her, I can do that every turn. That's yeah, that's the fun of the deck. Playing it, the heartache of the deck playing against it. Silverblade Paladin. I'm not sure if I will keep him in here. Probably just for fun, because I have a foil one. So 3/1 white for 2/2 human knight. Comes into play, pair him with another creature, and they both have double strike. Another creature comes into play, you can pair that creature with this Silverblade, or if he gets flickered. Anyway, giving Brago double strike could be fun. Make him a 4/4. But the most important thing is to get him through and flicker stuff. Speaking of flickering, I've got a flashy cat. My flashy cat, 2 white for a 3/3 cat. Comes into play, I gain protection of the color of my choice until I choose the color. I have protection. Then if I flicker him, at instant speed. That's what I'm thinking of the instance. And that's one of the reasons for the displacer. Is I'm being attacked by predominantly, say, green creatures. Flicker him, give myself protection from green. How many do I have left? Just 3. Okay, Spirit and Doll. Ignore that. The cast cost, that doesn't matter. What matters is forecast. 1 and a white. Show it to everybody. Target creature gains shadow until end of turn, making him effectively unblockable. And then she goes back in my hand, so I can do it again. Fiend Hunter. So 1 white for a 1/3 human. Now, it's important that these are separate. I still have. I can't properly explain how it works, but if you look at Fairground Warden, it's 1 ability because he has 2 abilities. If he comes into play, his ability goes on the stack, and then if you flicker him and he leaves play, that ability is still on the stack, but this ability, because this one did not resolve, does not go on the stack, so he permanently exiles a creature. Tricky. Blind Obedience. 1 and a white for enchantment. Extort artifacts and creatures you won't control into the battlefield tap, slowing them down, letting you smash them in the face and making them cry. And that's it. That's Brago, and that's what I have so far. Some of the cards I know I want are Lavinia the 10th, Cloud Shift, Ghostly Flicker, Momentary Blink, Needed Solemn Simulacrum in here, a few cards. But anyway, I have to get that ready for Ostruzna. I only have about 45 days to do it. Ciao.